Hey folks, Matt from artoftheimage.com, and today is awesome because it is finally in the Panasonic GH4. That's what we have right here, the GH4. You can see the box right here. Obviously, I've already got the camera out of the box because I wanted to get the charger going. I wanted to play with it and whatnot. So this will be a unboxed and initial observations versus a unboxing. But we'll just show you. It's got very nice packaging to it. So everybody's coming along, kind of following in the Apple footsteps of packaging. So you got some documentation up top here. We have the top little area that most camera boxes have, where we've got your software disk, your warranty card, things like that, and your manual. And we have underneath here, got a nice little area where the camera came packaged in a nice black velvety type sleeve. Got a twist tie, I think that was on the charger box. And we've got some other cables that come with your standard cables. We've got your Lumix camera strap, and what do we have here? It looks like we have a USB connection cable. So we'll get the box out of the way now, because that is certainly not the most important part. And put this back together. So, Panasonic GH4. Oh, and the charger comes with it too. One note that I think all camera manufacturers, and this is just a small nitpick, but one of the things I think all camera manufacturers should be doing, and some aren't, like Panasonic, is get rid of the plug-in with the long cord off it. There's no reason you can't have the ones where the back flips out and plugs right into the wall. Certainly, as I said, it's a minor nitpick, but those are the ones that I prefer. And onto the camera. Very nice initial feel in the hands. You definitely get the impression of a nicely built piece of equipment here. It feels very solid. It feels very pro level. Perhaps not quite at maybe the level of a Nikon D4S, but certainly not the feel of a hobbyist camera. It does feel professional. One of the things I noticed right off the bat is I like the lock mechanism right here is the mode dial for manual, shutter aperture, priority, etc. And in the center is a little pin that you push down and it releases a lock, and then you can turn this, and then you push it down again and it locks it, which is kind of nice because you're not going to bump it out of what mode you're in. The on-off switch is right on the edge of that dial right there. And up top also we have white balance, ISO, and looks like exposure compensation there. Nice layout of buttons. We've got our front command dial right here, right behind the trigger, the shutter button, which is right here. And at the back we've got our other command dial, our rear command dial right by the thumb. The layout, certainly have no complaints there. We got another little dial over here, which is for speed of shooting. Looks like single, multiple, and then you can go into timer modes there. This looks like it might be a flash sync socket up here. I'll have to check into that. And then over on the side we have our microphone port, which has a nice rubber cover on it. We've got a headphones port with a rubber cover on it. We've got the AV out and digital, so the HDMI and whatnot is behind covers there. And on this side we have our SD card slot, and then we have a little tab for a remote. So I guess that's if you want to use a wired remote with this, because as far as I know, you can control the GH4 with the Panasonic app using your smartphone or your tablet or whatnot, like an iPhone or an iPad. We've got the fully movable screen, which I love about these, because rather than having a screen that just lifts in one position, when you have this tiltable screen that flips to the side, you can move it all around, spin it this way. I mean, if you're a YouTuber and you like to vlog, you could be holding this camera like this doing a vlog video and you can see yourself. And it makes a huge difference right now. Like for instance, on the D5200, I'm filming this video. I've got the screen flipped around so I could see myself just to make sure that the record button's still working. I've still got battery power and everything looks like it's good. Gives you a general idea of exposure, that exposure was good. And so I really like those screens. It has a very nice cup to the EVF, and the EVF on here is supposed to be very nice and detailed. We'll be into that more once we get a lens on the camera and start shooting with it and get you some initial user reports. But overall, the tactile nature of the buttons is very solid, very much the feel of a pro level camera. There's just really nothing I would complain about this body at all. Underneath we have the battery door, and I've already got the battery in here as I threw it in on the charger. And we've got the nice big, what are these batteries? These are the BLF 19 PPs, but a nice big solid battery. And the point being here that you'll get good battery life out of this rather than getting something that has a much dinkier battery and not good battery life. So really nice in that regard. Nice lock on the door. We've got our tripod mount down here, and it looks like we've got a couple of other plugs in here. I don't know what those are for, so I'm not going to pick at them till I figure out what they are. And yeah, basically really nice setup. The menu layouts seem pretty straightforward. Took me a minute to figure out when I was playing with this earlier how to get into the 4K settings, and it turned out it was just because it wasn't in movie mode up on the mode dial. But as soon as I did that, I had 4K settings available in both, I believe it was 24p and 30p. So I'll be really interested to see the 4K footage out of here. Not so much that I'm planning on shooting a lot of 4K and then putting 4K up on YouTube, because that's what most of my videos go to, but more that what I'm hearing is that especially with the GH4, 4K video and then exported to 1080 gives you a much nicer 1080 video than if you had just shot regular 1080. So that'll be interesting too. And obviously, be aware if you're interested in this and you want to shoot 4K, you're going to need a pretty powerful computer. I think mine will keep up. I've got the i7-3930K processor, the 6-core, still one of the premier processors out there. I've got 32 gig of RAM, probably going to upgrade it to 64 this year, and I'm working on SSD drives for both my working drive and on the OS drive. So it should be fine with the video out of here. But yeah, I mean, the buttons, the tactile feel of everything on here is very solid, has very good resistance, very good response, pressure response when you push on the buttons. Just a very nicely made, very nicely engineered camera. The grip is a nice depth. I have smaller hands, and the camera fits very nicely. And I think, even with a little bit of room, because I don't think you would find with large, you'd have to have pretty big hands that you didn't like this grip. The rubber tactileness of the grip is very nice. It's not too sticky. It's not too smooth. It gives you a good grip. Yeah, so just overall, my initial impressions, very favorable. I'm very much looking forward to shooting the GH4, both for photography and video. I think people are starting to realize more and more that the 16 megapixel micro four thirds sensor in these cameras, especially in the GH4, the new iteration of these sensors, is able to pretty much on par with our current generation of APS-C 24 megapixel sensors. So you're not really losing anything shooting micro four thirds for photography, and of course for video, very hard to beat this little GH4, one of the best cameras out there for video. So anyways, folks, stay tuned. We'll be back soon with more on the GH4. If you have any questions for me you'd like answered, you want me to look into while I have the GH4 here, it's on loan for Panasonic. Thank you very much, Panasonic. Let me know, and we'll try and get those answered for you. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below, and we'll try to get to those. If you have any hints or tips, if you have a GH4 and you want to let me know, give me a heads up. By all means, leave them in the comments. And stay tuned. We'll be back soon with some new videos, some new articles. Keep up to date with what's going on in the world of photography, videography, and technology right here at artoftheimage.com. Thanks a lot, folks.